Right folks, I've had a little bit of a clean up then. So the next thing to do is to start filling in some of these holes. So where we remove skirting boards, that sort of stuff, we have a number of holes where we removed any batons from the wall. We have lots of holes. So basically what I'm going to do, look, I'm just going to PVA these areas and then I'm going to fill them in with bonding. Now we do have a rather interesting area up here. As we can see, there's a big lump of timber in there, surrounded by plaster. So what I've done, look, I've actually scored the surface using a Stanley knife, just to give it a bit of a key. And I'm also going to PVA this area, and I'm going to put some mesh on here and cover it all up, basically plaster this little section here using bonding with some mesh, because you've got two different materials, you've got timber, you've got plaster. They're going to expand and contract at different rates, and if I don't actually put some sort of mesh up here, then what'll happen, either quickly or a little bit shortly thereafter, we're going to have some cracking on the plaster. So anyway, I'm just going to mix up some PVA and you know, we can start applying it to the areas which we just had a look at. And the reason for doing that is to make sure that we control the suction on the wall, keep the dust down, that sort of thing, so that when we apply the new plaster, it's actually going to stay in situ. Right, so I've mixed up some PVA then. I've mixed it as usual to the consistency of milk. So this bit of timber then will have been up here since the house was built. So it's been up about, I don't know, 40, 45 years, something like that. I need to give it a good douse because it's very, very dry. So we need to make sure we give that a good soak. I've removed bits of plaster which are loose. Just want to make sure we get into all of the nooks and crannies. And when that dries out a bit, I'm going to go and put another bit on here. Splash it in there. So I just want to show you the mesh I'm actually going to put on the wall then. Got this from Wix, as you can see. Patch and repair mesh, tells you what to do. Incidentally, where it says mix Wix one coat plaster, I'll just avoid that stuff, it's not very good. There we go, look, so basically plaster on the area, cut the mesh to size, you need to do that beforehand, and basically just push it into the plaster, cover it up, job's a good one, there you go. So the size of this, what's the size? There we go, look, 1 metre by 25 centimetres, so 1 metre by 1/4 metre basically. There you go, look. So it's made of glass fibre. Reduces risk of cracking due to movement below plaster surface, which typically you're going to get if you're trying to plaster over two different types of materials. I'll put the price of this on the screen. Right, so the plaster which I'm going to be used to fill in those cracks and those holes will be this stuff here, look, Thistle Bonding coat. You've seen me use it before. There you go, that'll do. So I just thought I'd show you what this mesh looks like, look, before I put it up. How easy you can see that. So there's a, yeah, you know, reasonable little strip. So I'm just going to cut this to size now. So I want this to cover the timber and the plaster. So yeah, it looks about right. Let's take this bit out again. Oh, that'll be okay. Let's bang it in there. Splendido. So let's just get this this mesh in here, shall we? So I'm just going to put another coat on there. Before I forget actually, I just want to make a recommendation for you guys who are interested in plastering and you know the general DIY stuff. I've recently made a subscription to a chap who subscribes to my channel. I think the name of his channel actually, I think it's Gordon Mackey. I'll put the name on the screen below, and there is actually a couple of really good videos of this chap using this mesh material on a much bigger scale on a wall which is quite poor, quite badly cracked, and rather than actually taking off all the old plaster, he actually decided to bond the wall out and then put a similar mesh like this onto it and then skim it over. So if you guys are interested in seeing something like this on a much bigger scale, then check out this guy's channel because it's a really good video, and this guy looks like a really competent plasterer. Anyway, we don't need to do much more than that, other than just to start faffing around with it. And that should make sure that when I skim this over, it's less likely to crack. There we go. Just need to stop faffing around with it, but anyway, that's really all at this stage we need to do with that. Okay, boom, sorted.